I know somebody with 700,000 followers on social media who struggles to make even $1,000 a month. I know somebody else with 80,000 followers and they get tons of engagement on their content and tons of views. Same story. They struggle to make any money from it. And I've been there myself, hustling for the algorithms, posting every single day on social media with very little to show for it. And for the longest time, I couldn't understand what was wrong. I was getting a lot of people following me. A lot of people were watching my content. Some of my videos even went semi-viral, but it wasn't really translating into the kind of financial success that I hoped for. And after a ton of trial and error, I eventually changed my strategy completely, and that changed everything for me. In the past 2 years, my business has done over $1 million in revenue, and I've done that completely solo with no team, no calls on my calendar. I don't do sales calls, anything like that. And I did it as a busy dad of two who doesn't really have a lot of time. And today I'm going to walk you through the system that made that possible. My name is Beau, if you don't know already, and about 13 years ago is when I started my first online business, and I started selling digital products and making content. And for many years, I struggled like crazy. I don't think I hit 6 figures in a year until my 7th or 8th year as an entrepreneur. And now I'm on a mission to kind of shortcut the process for other creators and help them avoid the painful trial and error and struggle that most people ordinarily have to go through. I see my mission as just sort of helping people bypass those struggles and get where they're trying to go in their business and hit their income goals in less time and with less struggle, with less trial and error, with less wasted energy. So one thing that I eventually realized on my journey is that you do not need a ton of followers. You don't need to be social media famous. You don't need to post content every single day on social media if you don't want to. You don't need to do these things in order to have success online. You really just have to understand buyer psychology and the 4 beliefs that people need to have in their mind before they become a customer. The problem is most people, when they get into this game and they start creating content to try to grow their coaching or service business, they immediately fall into the trap of playing the attention game. It's so easy to get addicted to seeing that view count badge on your content go up. We have to see that this is all done strategically by these social media platforms. They gamify it to get us addicted to posting content. But if you've posted content for a long enough period of time, you may have realized, just like I did, that the amount of views and followers you get doesn't necessarily translate into the amount of money in your bank account. The unconscious belief we all sort of have is that more equals more. We automatically assume that more views on our content must be better, right? More followers must be better. If there's more people who see our content, that means there's more people who can become customers. Makes logical sense, right? But this fails to take into account the actual process that goes on inside of people's minds before they buy something. There's an invisible psychological process that is going on in people's minds that makes them buy from certain creators and not buy from other creators. And the people who they don't buy from, it doesn't mean that they don't like those creators. It doesn't mean they don't like their content. Someone can love your content. They can like every post. They can share it with their friends. They can comment and engage on it and still never buy from you because they don't have what I call the 4 buying beliefs in their mind. So if you want to get tons of customers and clients, even if you have a small audience, you need to align your content strategy with this invisible process that's going on inside of people's minds. When your content aligns with that, you're going to turn a lot more of your viewers into customers and clients, and you won't need nearly as big of an audience. Before you can do that though, there's 3 big shifts that you need to make in your thinking. The first big shift you have to make is you have to stop seeing the content that you're creating as equal. Most people, they just post content and they kind of see it all as the same. It all has the same purpose. It's to get views and attract leads and to bring people into your world, right? But I would encourage you to start thinking about it like this. There are some pieces of content that you post that are designed to maybe just get attention, and that's the purpose of that piece of content. It's designed as sort of a top of funnel piece of content that's designed to just bring a lot of people into your world and maybe get new followers and new people seeing your content that have never seen it before. That's one specific type of content. A lot of people fall into the trap of only making this kind of content and then they wonder why nobody's buying from them, because this type of content is not designed to get customers and clients. It's designed to bring people into your world and get people to discover you. So that's one type. The other type of content you need to create is content that's designed to create resonance with your audience or connection, to get people to understand your values, your beliefs, your perspective on things, to share a little bit more authentically and be more vulnerable in your content, share your story, let people get to know who you are so they can connect with you on a human to human level. The other type of content you're going to want to create is content that's designed to install the 4 beliefs that I talked about. And we're going to dive into this a little bit later. And then there's other types of content you want to create that are designed to create action, to get people to take some sort of action, to sign up for something or to buy something. And then there's other content you create that is specific specifically designed to take somebody who is already maybe warmed up to you. Maybe they already have a connection with you. They've already been watching your content for a while. And this type of content is just designed to move that person over the edge and get them to actually turn into a paying customer or client. And all of these pieces of content that you create, it all works together as a system. One piece of content is not doing all of the work, like first someone might see your short form content here on social media. Then they might find you over on YouTube and they watch your long form content. Maybe some of that content is very raw and authentic and it's designed to create resonance and connection with them. Then maybe they watch some other content that's like explaining your unique method or process or how you help people. That's designed more to maybe install the beliefs in their mind that they need to purchase. And then you have other types of content they might see after they have gone through this other content that moves them into some sort of conversion mechanism. And all of this content works together, like I said. So if you only have one type of content, let's say you're just posting short form content. That's something that I did. It's a mistake that I made for a long time, is I was basically fully dependent on short form content to grow my business. And I would generate some customers and clients from that, but not nearly as many as I should have been because I didn't have these other pieces of content in place. Or some people kind of have the complete opposite problem, is maybe they're making a lot of content that's like really just focused on generating the sale. And it's more like a direct sales pitch almost, but they don't have any like nurture content designed to create connection or build belief. And they don't have any discovery content maybe that's designed to get new people into their world. So they don't have enough lead flow. So if you're missing any one of these, it's gonna reduce your sales by quite a bit. When you have all of them though, that's how you maximize the number of clients and customers you're getting from your existing following without needing to grow a huge audience or anything. You can just maximize the conversions from your existing audience. So the second big shift that you need to make is you need to focus on installing these 4 beliefs before you ask for the sale, and stop expecting people to convert into a sale before you have done the work to install these beliefs. So you need to have specific pieces of content in your business that are designed for this purpose. So what are the 4 beliefs that people need to have? One is they need to believe in the vehicle. The vehicle, or you might consider it the opportunity. So the easiest way to think about it is like, think about different ways to like make money online. There's a lot of opportunities. You can sell high ticket products, low ticket products. You can do e-commerce. You can do faceless affiliate marketing or whatever. There's a lot of different opportunities available to people. And people have to first be sold on this before they're even going to be willing to consider a purchase at all. If they don't believe the vehicle or opportunity you're presenting is the best way for them to get what they want, then they're not going to purchase. The other thing they have to believe in is the method, which is like your unique way of helping them take advantage of that opportunity or solve the problem they're trying to solve. So you need to have a unique method or a way that's different from what everyone else is offering. You have your own secret sauce, your unique system, and people have to be bought into that as well before they're willing to purchase. The other thing they have to be bought into is you as the guide. They have to trust that you are the right person to take them where they want to go. They have to see you as someone who's trustworthy, someone who's knowledgeable, someone who's not going to lead them astray. And then the final belief they need to have is belief in themselves. They have to believe that they are capable of taking advantage of the opportunity or solving the problem in the way that you're presenting it to them. They have to believe that they have the right resources available to them, that they have enough time, that they have enough money maybe, that they have the right personality for it. There's a lot of like internal objections that people have, reasons they think that they can't do this, or maybe that now is not the right time to do this. And so if they don't have that belief, they're also not going to purchase. So you can think of it on like a scale of 1 to 10. You have different people in your audience at different levels of belief. Like here's Tom, for example. He's a cold lead. Maybe he knows about you. He's seen your content, but he doesn't fully believe in the opportunity yet. He doesn't really believe in your method, or maybe he doesn't even know about your method. He doesn't truly believe in himself yet that he can do this. Maybe he's more of a beginner, and he doesn't really have a lot of trust built with you because maybe he's only seen a couple pieces of short form content from you, for example. So he's a cold lead. He's probably not going to purchase anytime soon unless you strategically take him through that process of building these 4 beliefs. And then we have Jane. She's a warm lead, you might say. She's been following you for a while, consuming your content, so she believes in the opportunity. She believes in your method to some degree. She believes in you as the guide to some degree. She trusts you, but maybe she's still trying to believe in herself and her ability to do this. So maybe she has to consume more content from you, or different types of content, so that she can increase these beliefs to the point where she's actually ready to become a client. And then you have David. He's what you might call a hot lead. He's binge watched your content for a long time. He's basically fully bought in. He believes in the opportunity. He believes in your method. He believes in himself, and he believes in you, and he trusts you to take him where he's trying to go. This is what you'd call someone who is buyer ready. And all of your content that you create, it's designed to take people through this process. So if you have all the right types of content in place, all of this happens basically 24/7. You have content out there on the internet that people can consume at any time, and that content is naturally taking someone from being a cold lead to a warm lead to a hot lead. One of the ways that I realized the importance of this is I had a product launch that was a complete flop. And I had a pretty good sized audience at the time of doing this launch. I had like 12,000 people on my email list. So I was expecting a pretty good amount of sales from this launch. And I put a lot of energy into this product launch. And guess how many sales I made? 5 sales. I made 5 sales from over 10,000 people on my email list. And I was just thinking like, what the hell went wrong? Like this was a major, major flop. And I looked at what I did during this launch and I said, okay, I think I know what went wrong. And so I'm going to try it again. So a few months later, I launched the same product, repositioned it a little bit, changed the strategy, how I was talking about it, how I was promoting it. But most importantly, I created content for this launch that installed the 4 beliefs. And I did that as like a pre-launch. So I had some videos that I sent out to my email list before I opened the cart for this product. And these videos were designed to install these beliefs, get people to believe in the opportunity I was presenting, the specific way that I was helping them or my method. It helped them believe that they could do it. And it built trust in me. It showed that I was a real expert on this topic so they could trust me as someone who could guide them towards the outcome that they wanted. And I did the launch again. And guess how many sales I made the second time? 55. I made 55 sales. I went from 5 sales in the first launch to 55 sales in the next launch, over 10x. And I made over $80,000 in 1 week during that launch. And the only thing I really changed was just the content that people saw before they saw the product. And that content was designed to install the 4 beliefs so that when I announced the product, people were already pre-sold and ready to buy. They were pre-sold on the product before they even knew the product existed. When you can do that, it's extremely powerful because it reduces all sales resistance. So when somebody comes to you, let's say they apply to work with you or something for your coaching program, if you have content in place that people see before they apply to work with you, they will come to you ready to buy. They won't even need to get on a sales call or anything. They will just like ask for the payment link in the DMs, and closing the deal can be as simple as that because the content pre-sells people. So you don't need to do any hard selling. You don't even need sales calls in a lot of cases. Like a lot of people, they do sales calls in their business and they get people on calls, but these people are not pre-sold at all. They're like a cold lead. And so they have a ton of objections on their mind. They're skeptical. They don't believe in you, and they just waste your time on the call and they don't end up buying. But you can avoid that problem if you have this content ecosystem in place. So now let's talk about the third shift you need to make. And that is what I would call build it backwards. You see, most people make the mistake of building their business in what seems like a logical order. They start at the beginning. That makes sense. You think, well, if I'm going to do something, I start at the beginning, right? And so what they do is they start making content that's designed to basically get attention. They might start posting short form content or something on social media, and that's how they begin. And they think, oh, I'll just post content, build an audience, and then I'll figure out what to sell those people later, right? But that's actually the opposite of how you want to do it in most cases. What you want to do is you want to start from the end. You want to start with, what are you selling? Even if you don't have the product ready for sale yet, you want to start thinking about, okay, what am I going to sell, at least eventually? Because your whole content strategy needs to be aligned around what you're selling. Because if it's not, then you're going to end up building an audience of people who never buy from you. And there's sort of a famous example of this that you might have heard before. It was like a story about this viral creator who had like millions of followers on social media, and they launched like a t-shirt or something, a t-shirt brand, and they couldn't even sell like 20 t-shirts or something from millions of followers. It's because this person, they made the mistake of starting at the beginning. They started by just getting the maximum amount of attention, thinking that that attention would somehow convert into income, and it rarely works like that. So what you want to do instead is you want to start with the end in mind. Figure out what you're selling, figure out the conversion mechanism that you're going to use to get people into that offer. Then you work backwards, and then you think, okay, what do I need to have in place to get people to like take action on this and move closer to becoming a client? What kind of content do I need to create to install the beliefs in people's minds so that they're pre-sold and ready to buy when they come across my offer? How do I create content that builds resonance and trust in me as the guide, build connection with people? And then finally, once all of this stuff is clear, then you think about attention. Then you think about, okay, now how can I bring the most amount of people into this funnel? But if you just get a bunch of attention, but you don't have this other stuff in place, it's not going to translate into many customers customers and clients. So begin with the end in mind. Build it backwards. What are you selling? And then reverse engineer that and figure out the journey that people have to go on to be pre-sold on your offer. So if we had to summarize this into one solution, I would say don't just create content, but create a content ecosystem that strategically installs the right beliefs in people's minds so they are pre-sold on whatever you're selling, so that there's almost zero sales resistance, and closing the deal could be as easy as sending them a payment link. If you want help building out this whole system for your business, there should be a link down below where you can apply to work with me, and I can help you get total clarity on how all of this would apply to your unique situation. I hope you found this insightful. I'll talk to you in the next one.